In the heart of a picturesque natural setting, nestled amid sprawling pine forests, approximately 35 kilometers southeast of the Polish city of Gdansk, a city once known as Danzig under German rule, a grim chapter of history unfolded in the autumn of 1939. It was here that the Germans established a camp designated for interned persons, a place that would come to be known as Stutthof. Initially, the camp was populated by a diverse group of individuals, including members of the Polish intelligentsia, prisoners of war, communists, and Jews. As time progressed, the camp rapidly expanded to accommodate a growing number of victims, both men and women, who were brought in from various locations. To facilitate the camp's operations, production workshops were also established. In 1941, the camp underwent a significant transformation when it was reclassified as a labor education camp. However, by January 1942, Stutthof had evolved into a full-fledged concentration camp, complete with all the horrifying attributes typically associated with such institutions. Within its confines, unspeakable atrocities were committed. Prisoners were subjected to relentless torture and medical experiments, burned in crematoriums, and gassed. Shockingly, some were even used as raw material for the production of soap. In 2006, the Institute of National Remembrance attempted to refute these claims, but researchers were astonished to discover human fatty tissues in the soap samples they analyzed, providing grim evidence of the camp's horrifying practices. This video delves into the chilling accounts of the female guards who served at Stutthof. One such guard was Wanda Braumann, hailing from Stuttgart, who began her tenure at the camp in 1944. Within just over a year, Braumann distinguished herself through her guard duties, earning the nickname Beautiful Ghost due to her deceptively attractive appearance. However, prisoners sometimes referred to her as the Terrible Ghost because of her unimaginable cruelty and her favorite pastime, the relentless beating of female prisoners. Gertrud Traudt, transferred to Stutthof from Ravensbrück in 1942, was another notorious figure. The prisoners dubbed her the Stutthof sadist for her extremely cruel treatment of female inmates. Ilse Fries, of Polish origin, commenced her service at Stutthof in early 1944 and quickly gained a reputation as a sadist. She was known for forcing women prisoners who displeased her to undress and then subjecting them to brutal beatings. Elisabeth Becker and Ewa Parades also began their service at the concentration camp in early 1944. Becker was involved in the selection of women and children for the gas chambers, using a principle known only to her and seemingly based on her mood. She would walk past potential victims several times, seemingly ignoring them, and then suddenly turn back and utter the word "you," a death sentence for those selected. Gerda Steinhoff's arrival at the camp is dated to the end of 1943. Like Becker, she was involved in selecting prisoners for the gas chambers and medical experiments, taking great pride in her work. She, along with her colleagues, displayed cold cruelty towards women and children and was awarded a medal for her dedicated service. Her superiors noted her diligence and productivity. Wanda was one of the few married female guards at the camp. She had previously distinguished herself as a ruthless sadist at Proust, and in 1944 she was transferred to Stutthof. By her own admission, she beat at least 2 prisoners every day, considering it a form of physical exercise. It is important to note that not all female guards at Stutthof exhibited such cruelty. In 1946, the first trial of guards from the concentration camp took place, marking one of the earliest judicial processes involving concentration camp guards. During the camp's existence, 295 so-called Aufseherinnen, female guards, served there. As the Red Army approached, the camp staff began to flee. However, not everyone managed to escape. The first commandant of Stutthof, Max Pauli, who had risen to the rank of Standartenführer in the SS and was also the commandant of the Neuengamme concentration camp, was detained in the autumn of 1945. He was sentenced by an English court in Hamburg in May 1946 and hanged in October of the same year. The female guards who tried to feign innocence were also caught, along with their immediate superior, Oberscharführer SS Johann Pauls. The trial of the Nazi criminals took place in Gdansk on April 26, 1946. 16 camp employees were on trial, including those mentioned above. During the trial, the former female guards behaved with a surprising lack of remorse, as if they did not believe they would be seriously punished. They joked, laughed, and flirted with the guards, showing no guilt or regret. In stark contrast, many witnesses in the courtroom could not hold back their tears and even fainted at the sight of the defendants' smiles. On May 31, 1946, the defendants heard their sentences. 11 of them were sentenced to death. Becker, Stutthof, Klaff, Braumann, Traudt, Paradis, and Pauls, as well as 2 POWs, prisoner functionaries from among the prisoners, Antoni Kozlowski and Tadeusz Kopczynski. On July 4, 1946, the death sentences were carried out. All 11 criminals were hanged near Gdansk on Biskupia Gorka. Some shocking details emerged. They were transported to the execution site in trucks, had ropes put around their necks, and then the trucks drove away, leaving the sadists hanging on their ropes. There were some incidents. The truck carrying Jenny Wanda Braumann stalled, and someone from the former prisoners, according to other sources, both of them, broke through the guards, jumped into the truck, and pushed the beautiful ghost into eternal darkness. But that wasn't the end. The crowd began throwing stones and sticks at the hanging bodies. The guards had to work hard to hold back the angry people. The bodies hung for some time and were then burned, and the ashes were scattered in an unknown location. There is a legend that Braumann's ashes were flushed down the toilet in her apartment, but it's just a legend. This is how the female guards and sadists of the Stutthof concentration camp, its terrible ghosts, ended their lives. It was a well-deserved outcome for those who had violated human norms. After this trial, there were several more trials of guards and supervisors of Stutthof in January 1947 and November of the same year. Some were sentenced to death, some to 10 to 15 years in prison, some to 5 years, and some escaped punishment altogether. For example, the commandant's secretary was acquitted, as she had no direct involvement in the executions and torture. However, 75 years later, a criminal case was initiated against Irmgard Traudt. Researchers discovered that she was aware of all the atrocities committed in the concentration camp and provided various services to the executioners and torturers, albeit indirectly. She was given a suspended sentence, which was considered lenient due to her advanced age. Today, a museum operates on the site of the former concentration camp. During its existence, approximately 110 to 120,000 prisoners passed through Stutthof, with 65 to 80% of them perishing there. What do you think about it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion is very important to me. Don't forget to give me a like if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new episodes. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.